everyone, welcome, and I've had a haircut. Real low. But anyway, obviously not subject. As you can see, the environment has changed. I am doing my first recording, and it is going to be something I've been wanting to do. We're going to be talking about this. Focus. Lufia, the wounds of war. Focus. Now, before I start talking about this, please keep in knowledge that I own every Lufia game. I praise Lufia 2 like hell. And yeah. So anyway, Lufia Wounds of War. I finished the Let's Play that quite a while ago. And because being caught in my moving, I have not been able to make a video talking about it. But now is the time. So, I'm going to just start this out right now. Because, you know, I've been wanting to do a video where I go back and talk about Lunar DS Dragon Song, or Genesis in Japan. Because I didn't do, like, that was just a random video I did a long time ago. And, well, you know, though it amazed me, there are people who liked it. And I'm going to be very nice, because I know there's people who like this game too. I'm not going to be very positive, but I will try and be very fair. But overall, this isn't going to be a very positive. And if you actually like this game, now, if you like this game, I highly recommend you go play Lufia 2, The Return of the Sinistrals. Go do that. Because if you like that game, that is going to be a huge step up. And it's hard to compete with something when that's a huge step up. And that's... But anyway. So let's get on with it. Lufia the Wounds of War. It takes place 20 years, I believe, after Lufia Return of the Sinistrals, which is technically the first game in the timeline. This would make this the second, Lufia 1 the third, and then The Legend Returns the last. In that order. So this, in chronological, takes place after the second game. So, since it's only 20 years after the events of the end, where Lufia 1, if I remember quickly, is 100 years after. So, you know, progressively, people and things are relatively, you know, still knowledgeable. So, you know, you might be going in thinking, sweet, I get to meet characters from Lufia. Whoa, focus. Wow, I scared my camera so much trying to fucking leap at it. Hello. Technical difficulties. Okay, anyway. I'll try and autofocus. There you go. So, what's to go on here? There are references and things to the second game. So, that exists, but mostly for the beginning of the game. To be honest, it pretty much dies out mid into the end. Most of the references are mostly early on. So you start in the hometown of Maximum's wife, which was Celine, if I remember correctly. If I remember name correctly. It has been so long since I played this game. But, start out in the hometown, and its layout looks oddly different. But anyway, graphically, it's a Game Boy Advance. It looks alright. I'm not going to be nitpicky. I admit, I think the face is a little too dull, especially with the eyes, but graphically it's not too bad. There's a few graphical errors when casting spells and few profile images of monsters being kind of weird in the menu system. But overall, I mean, it's not too bad. A little subpar, I'd say, but nothing destructive. I'll get to what, in my opinion, is destructive about this game. But basically, you get, I guess, bored and you just get involved in doing thing after thing until you get involved into the war that happens. Basically, if you remember in this game, there was a country that basically was more technological and was going to try and take over the world. Guess what? That's probably the most clever thing in this game. Basically, they're back in world dominations on the planet. I can't remember what they were called. I forgot the name of the kingdom. Damn it. I'm so rusty on names on games I haven't played. I really need to do let's play this, but anyway. But basically, they're back. It's a dinosaur story. And they're basically coming to come kill everyone. But the story is a pretty simple setup. Nice references to a few of the characters and areas in the past game. There ain't too many familiar areas. Like, for example, the Bound Kingdom, which Deckard is from. Which, by the way, Deckard is in this game. But it is completely left forgotten. Like, you don't go anywhere near the Bound Kingdom. Which is a shame, because I really like the Bound Kingdom. Because that's where Deckard is from. Deckard! Master Swordsman. Of course, I have no idea what the fuck they did to his hair in this game now. I mean, fuck, even it being all pink like it is in the DS game seems more natural than the weird way they did in this. But, well, that's an opinion. But, basically, the thing that kills me in this game is the gameplay. It starts out innocent enough, to be honest. It starts pretty reminiscent of Lufia, the Return of the Sinistrals. It has similar music, a similar aesthetic design to how combat is, and it continues the tradition of having the plus pad looking menu in combat. So, overall, I mean, it starts out promising. Puzzle-wise, you'll find out quickly or very far in between and very not usually challenging until way near the end of the game where it actually starts doing a lot of puzzles. And I'm talking about way at the end. Aside from that, there's very minimal puzzles in this game, which is very disappointing because that was one of the defining interesting things that made this game interesting. You know, well, other games just spam the living crap out of generic battles because, let's be honest, Lufia 2 Return of the Sinistrals is an awesome game, but it does have pretty simplistic understanding RPG mechanics in its battle system. And the whole puzzle aspect and dungeons helped make it seem less repetitive in that. It made it refreshing. And this doesn't have it. But there are some puzzles, and I'd say the most challenging ones are at the end, which would be obvious, but be honest, there just never felt like there were even a lot of them. It does have a small similarity to the tool system that was in Return of the Sinistrals, where, you know, you have a hookshot bow and stuff in that. You don't have a bow in this one. You do have access to a hookshot, slash, a hammer, and a torch. Not a lot of variety. And sadly, the torch and hammer don't get used too often. You use probably hookshot and slash the most in the game. So there ain't a variety of tools, which does kind of hamper on the puzzles. The large variety of tools in Lufia Return of the Sinistrals and Lufia 2 did help, you know, provide a lot of interesting ideas for puzzles. So, as I said, combat, though, the gameplay of combat is, in my opinion, the bigger hamper here. Because, you know, a lack of, like, let's admit, you know, Return of Legends is a wackily different game, but it's interesting because it has a very interesting combat system to make up for the lack of puzzles in it. And that was a Game Boy Color game, by the way. But, here's the thing with combat. All the skills are unbalanced. Totally broken. You will quickly realize that much of the magic and skills are wildly... It's just... Okay, let me put it this simply. Okay, in Ruins of Lore, they introduced job system, which never existed in any Lufia game. Everyone has been class forced style. At most, you could purchase spells for characters who can learn spells, but aside from that, they will set in stone what they will. They melee, they use long range, whatever. If they can learn magic, you can buy specific spells for them, but even that, those certain spells they can't learn, so. You can't just like, okay, you're a spell user, you can use everything. So, but yeah, there was a job system, so basically all of the normal characters except for 2 of them, which one's temporary for a portion of the game, and the other one is like Guy and Deckard, who, well, actually, okay, I'll admit, the temporary one is Deckard, but the other one who is with you permanently for the rest of the game is like Deckard and Kane, Deckard and Guy who don't learn magic. He's pure physical. And the 3 other main characters can switch to any job and learn everything in the game. That's not very useful, to be honest, because your magic points, your AP, is completely just... The whole magic, AP, and skills is the whole fucked up thing about this game, man. It's like, okay, strong-ass spells, like Phoenix and shit, you know, they use like 30 AP in there and hit everything. You can use slash all, which is your physical attack, your normal physical attack, slashing all, for 3 AP. Now, considering 2 of your characters are very, like, basically the 3 characters, the 2 are like melee-based and the 3rd one is mage-based. But you can, you know, swap them into classes that they don't kind of mold into originally. But basically, in the efficiency of multiple targets, and it's very rare to get in a random battle that does not have multiple targets, it is just much simpler to spam slash all. And this is all more focused because of the lack of AP anyone gets. Your 2 melee... Your main character and his best friend, they basically get very little AP unless they go into a heavy mage class and they stay as a mage class. While the mage character, she does have a good hefty amount of AP no matter what class she is. But even with that, I mean, she has like the maximum of like 120 to like 70 varying on job class, and I think one of the mage classes at the level mine was at, I could go to 200 if I was one of the mage classes. And now you might be like, what's the problem then? What is the problem with that? Well, like I said, it has high casting spells, and this is including healing, and I'm going to get on why healing's also bullshit in this game. All very expensive. Like 30, 40 and shit. And if you only have like a max of 200 or even less, look how many times you're casting it. You're getting barely any casting. And like the final boss is not a very short boss fight. It's 2 bosses in a straight row for one thing. No recovery in the middle. And there are not tons of rare items to recover, you know, just instantly recover shit in that. You can make some, admittedly, but you have to do the ancient cave, and I'll get onto that too. Just patient. So, there was a big unbalance, everything else versus slash all. Now, they're all, you know, like Dragon Slash and stuff that hit, like, enemy types in there. And there are a few occasions those are useful. But in the most part, if you have no idea what it is, and there's a party, you're better off using slash all in most cases with your 2 old characters. And having the mage character, sorry, I dropped my thing, and my new apartment has, like, a rug, and I just wanted to make sure there was nothing inside. But, and you'll end up using your mage character as a hero mostly. Near the end of the game, you can buy an item that restores AP, and I did that to continuously restore AP. I really think the last boss fight was just not well designed, to be honest. But I'll get on to that too. This is... So healing. What's wrong with healing? Healing is a set number. And I hate RPGs that do set number. What do I mean by set number? That means there's no randomization or chance or anything in the heal amount. There's this, this, and this. Those are all you get. And what's stupid is the healing spells are the exact same amounts of the equivalent items. The generic healing items, as. Like, why? Why? There's no interesting random factor to it, and it's always the same amount. Like, none of them improve. Like, the spells should not fucking be set in stone like items. The items, understandable. There are different RPGs where items can be randomized or not randomized. Not a big deal in that opinion. But the spell, I hate when healing spells are set in stone. Like, it does not change varying on your level or anything. The weakest healing spell will always heal for 30 HP. No matter where, when, and level and stats in the game. In the course, the most kick-ass spells, a healing spell that'll heal everyone costs vast amounts of AP. If I remember correctly, it was 40. And you might be like, well, but again, you gotta take into consideration in that, you know, varying, unless you go really high level, which there's a problem with that, and I'll get into that too. But if you go really high level without any problems, and I'll explain that, like I said, I mean, it's like, what were they expecting you to be at the end of this game? I don't know, but what I ended up with, I had to use tons of AP healing items to continuously, I mean, like, basically what I ended up doing was having my 2 characters attack, the mage heal, and my last character switch from attacking since he has no spells, and using AP items or any super mega rare items to do necessary things for the situation. And the reason I find a lot of skills become worthless near the end of the game is that the 2 final bosses are single targets. There's no like group for that. Which, when it comes to a single target, admittedly, I don't know what the bosses were like. I do my Let's Plays blind, so admittedly, I don't know what they are considered as an enemy type. So, there might have been something in particular that was useful against them, but overall, admittedly, I didn't see anything useful, and admittedly, you know, Slash R is worthless against single target, because it is your normal physical attack against them, so there's no improved, so your regular physical attack is simple, and all the spells use so much fucking mana of your AP, it's just better to save it for healing, to be honest, because you can't find anything that really outdoes the physical damage of you 2 melee people. So overall, I mean, really, it just seems like so many of the skills are worthless, it seems. I've hardly used most of them. Like, I've tried them all in different things, on and off screen, but almost, there's like a small handful I ever found that were useful for unique situations aside from Slash R when it came to groups. And it made battles so boring to fucking just, it's like, I'm X slash R, I'm X slash R, I'm X slash R, I'm X slash R. Like, that is the worst thing you could do in an RPG, is create a system of repetitive actions. It's challenging to keep an RPG interesting. And that's like one reason why I liking the last story still, because every battle, even though you're using the same mechanics, is still keeping itself refreshing by changing what you need to do. And that's a very important example of how to keep an RPG interesting through its life, as opposed to, oh, our focus is going, come on. But anyway, so some of the issues here. If you level up too much, there's a drastic, horrifying glitch problem. Basically, I didn't experience it myself, but people who way over leveled, there have been reports I've read about. If you level up too high, it can cause a negative effect of your stats going down instead of up. Really? What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, really? Why? Ugh. Really? It's just... I don't know. It's just ridiculous how... Ugh. It is. It really is. I mean... I'd hate to say it, because I know the people who like this game, and I like a number of games that get punched the living shit out of, but the mechanics of the battle system are really what kill this for me. It's just so unbalanced. Like, the beginning portion of the game, pretty basic in RPG, but the mid to end is just full of not well-tested balance or anything. It just falls apart into a repetitive motion. And, you know, it's really sad that the best strategy against the final boss is absorbing all his AP by using a very well-crafted wing by running the ancient dungeon, ancient cave, and then he can't do anything to you, so you can just wail on him. That's the most common strategy recommended for the final boss of this game. That's just... I mean, yeah, the game allows you to do it. So I'm not calling you people who did it cheater, but I'd say that's just not very well done. Like, he can't do shit without AAP. It's like the whole end game was just not fucking considered or even play tested to see, like, you know, it's like, okay, let's take 20 people, let them all play all the way to the end, see what they kind of average out, and then get an idea how tough we should make it. It's like, nah, just give it like 8,000 health from that, and see how it goes, just sell the game, yeah. So the Ancient Cave now. If you've never played a Lufia game, the Ancient Cave probably doesn't seem too weird to you, but if you are a pretty common Lufia player, the Ancient Cave might bug you some. Pretty much, if you played Lufia 2, which is where the Ancient Cave became really good, because in Lufia 1 it was very different, but in Lufia 2, you could take your whole party in, and it has the same rules. Everyone gets de-leveled to level 1, temporarily while inside. All your equipment except very unique items and blue chests that can be taken in, but everything else gets stripped from you and left from above and that. But in Wounds of Lore, you and a pet monster, and I'll get on that too, can only go in. The rest of your party has to stay out. So it's a very solo-ish or duo battle, and it's a 4-man battle system. So you can have 4 characters in a normal battle, but you can only have 2 at most, and only one can be a pet and none of the other party members. And it's just a mess in my opinion. Though nice reference having the big jelly still down now, but it does not seem as fun. And, you know, the Ancient Cave's always been a mixed bag for Lufia fans. Some like it, some hate it. I didn't personally like the Ancient Cave much to begin with, but I appreciate its existence for Wii play. But this just doesn't even seem interesting at all. I mean, I even tried the Ancient Cave multiple times with Lufia 2. Got a few things here and there, but I didn't do tons of it. I tried in Wounds of Lore. It's just... It starts off incredibly hard if you do it way, way early in the game. You're best to wait a little while. And you gotta be very careful, because if you die, you lose everything. So obviously, you want to save it before you go in. So, monsters. As I mentioned, no monsters, and this is another aspect of the battle system that I feel is very weakened, but I didn't use it tons, so merely there might be useful stuff in it. But basically, there's a Pokemon system in Wounds of Lore. You can now capture monsters using discs, not Pokeballs and capture them. Every human character can have one except for Deckard and your fourth permanent character who can't learn any magic. They can't get pets. Your three main characters can get pet monsters. And you can change in and out of battle the ones that are in your party. So if they're in your party, you have more than 4 members, you can swap characters in battle. So you can have backup characters or monsters swapped in and out for situations. So there's uses there. But when it came to the end of the game, monsters, in my opinion, just became worthless. Because they could do, like, nothing to the final bosses. Just nothing. That's why I didn't even bring them to re-combat the final bosses after I got my ass handed to me the first time. It's an interesting concept, you know. I mean, it adds replayability, strategicness, and there's some moves that are useful with monsters and that, you know. That was a nice aspect of, like, Dragon Quest V, to recruit monsters and give you more variety and mixes with your party. But again, I have to say monsters suffer from a balance issue in combat. Like, a lot of it actually is a very similar situation. A lot of basic plane skills are useful, while the big, massive AP draining ones are either slightly useful or just drain all your AP as quick as possible. So that's again another mixed bag, but there are some interesting monsters. Now here's something I just call bullshit on. The reason there's an ownership of your pet is because there's another thing you can do. Your owner and the pet can combine to create an upgraded monster temporarily in combat. I have not found a single combination that was useful at all. Every single time I've ever done it was just worthless. It either did nothing to the boss or nothing for the party. Like, probably the best one I got was one that casted Heal All, but it only had max HP. And it wouldn't attack anyway, so all it did is just constantly cast Heal All on itself, and then it just went back to separate. It didn't do any real good. It didn't do anything for the battle. Everyone was always at max health. And it didn't actually even heal the characters. It only healed its merged form, so they were still at whatever what they were anyway. And they weren't like dead or anything. They had a little damage or something like that, but but like I do want to say, I did not do a huge amount of monster gathering. I think you have like a limit of like 15 monsters in that. So there could be some special, unique stuff out there. But I only ended up with like at most like 10 monsters, with some of them being merged. Now you can like capture 2 monsters, teach a skill from one to the other, and the other one disappears as kind of a skill trade-off system with the monsters. So you can make a monster type with pretty much any monster skill as long as you get a monster with that skill and give it to it at the cost of the monster that has that skill. So you can create probably some pretty good monsters if you're willing to invest a lot of time in it. And another aspect that I think is sad is that a lot of people recommend, if you want to make monsters really useful for the end game, is to go grind monsters that drop stab boosting items and give those to your monsters to immensely buff them up. And that's a lot of busy work in my opinion. Not a very common thing I like to do. I don't know, I just feel like the whole game just falls apart in the midpoint, as I said, when it comes to balancement in combat and that. There are are several bugs in the game too. Some graphical, as I mentioned before. There's a few towels that are a little weird and overlapping with the killer sprites. But even bizarrely more, there was a very unique one with the nectar item, if I remember correctly. There was a shop in one of the towns that allows you to craft shit if you have necessary items or gold to basically make the item. There's an item you can make called nectar. If you're familiar with Lufia, you probably heard of nectar before, because it's a very repetitive item that's appeared in every Lufia game as far as I'm aware of. But basically, if you actually get the necessary items for nectar, you can keep making nectar without your items being consumed. You can make an infinite amount of nectar. Yeah, that's a little broken. Also, something I did do in my Let's Play, I did not do the nectar thing, but I did do the blue tea trick, because items are immensely expensive in this game. Like, every time you hit a new town, tons of shit is insanely expensive in the game. So, I actually read about this item called blue tea, which there's only one quest for, but if you could actually sell blue tea for more what you buy it. So you can buy a whole stack of it, resell it. I did that just to get a little spare cash, because shit is really fucking expensive. It's really time consuming to do some of the most boring grinding for gold I have ever done. And, to me, this game, I don't like this game. I give it some credit in trying to mix a few ideas. The Pokemon thing's kind of a nice mix of catching monsters and that. And it did have some faithful, keeping like how Bow looks and stuff, and then a stick a bit and that. But the balancement in it is just a train wreck. Like, you ever heard people talk about Mother 1 on NES? The creator himself admitted that there was no real testing of the balance of the end of Mother 1. And, well, some people disagree with him and other people, and, those are opinions, but overall, most people agree that the end of Mother 1 had a bad ending balance. This game makes that look like a joke. There was horrifying balance in this game. And I'm not going to say I did the master, true, 100% knowledgeable Let's Play. It was a blind Let's Play. I did not do immense research. So, admittedly, there might be a few things I didn't understand or, may have missed. That happens. Nobody knows everything about a game very simply. It usually takes replaying, and to be honest, I probably would never replay this game again, because even if there was some nice stuff that I learned about in the future, I would still be upset about many of the imbalancements of things. It's really a shame that this is what Lufia had to end on. It really is. Because, to be honest, I think every other Lufia game remained interesting and to a nice level. Now, it is my opinion that, like, the Return to Legends, or Legends Return, the Legend Returns. To me, that is actually a pretty good game. Though, admittedly, I would say there are a few little balancement issues in it too, but I've never beaten it, by the way, to note. But it is something I wanted to go back to, or actually maybe even restart as a Let's Play in the future. But from what I played, I would say it's immensely better still than this. And at least it had some really interesting ideas for battle. But it did drop a lot of the puzzles, so I would still bitch about that. But I think I've pretty much covered what I think. In the end, it's a pretty generic RPG at the start, with a lot of balancing issues when it comes to skills, magic, and shit. It tried a few different ideas. I feel if they actually gave it a little more time, did some more testing, or actually do any balancing testing if they didn't do any, that this could have shaped up to be a much better game. Because, like, the story's simplistic, and really, I'll say I didn't care for the story, but I've seen worse stories, so. In the case of what you're wondering about the story, pretty much story is that, you know, you're a boy, you grow up, oh look, war, and you go there, you save the day, and you have some mysterious past. Ooh. Yeah, not a very in-depth story, much. Pretty much you're gonna see it all coming, pretty much way before the game tells you any of it. Is it worth getting? Is it worth playing? Is it worth buying? Maybe if you're a really big, hardcore Lufia fan, it might be worth checking out. But to be honest, if that's the only reason you would possibly be interested in it, I would pass. I would pass. And I really don't like being openly negative about something. I always like to try and look at the really good qualities and unique things of a game. And though I did talk about the unique differences and things that Wounds of Lore tried to do for the series, in the end, it could not make up for the problems. It just couldn't. The story could not cover it up. The graphics couldn't cover it up. The music couldn't cover it up. And to be honest, music's a mixed bag in there while we're on that note. It uses some remixes of Lufia songs, and of course has its own, I'd say, pretty normal fail. Not bad. Not the worst in the world, at least. There are a few good battle songs, too. But anyway. Yeah, I just pass it. I can't recommend Wounds of Lore unless you're like a big, insane person like me who likes to basically, you know, I like this series, so I want everything in the series. And if you're not like that, you know, you just want, is it good? Do you recommend it? No, I don't. I can't recommend it. It's just, it's so unbalanced in my opinion that it offers no huge uniqueness thing that makes it stand out enough. I can't recommend it. I just can't. It will rot in a box with so many other Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and stuff games, but it will rot on the bottom of that box down there. But hey, you know what? At least the DS game isn't that bad. It might have weeded a lot of the story stuff for this game, but at least that stayed to be more faithful and interesting than this did to me. But again, that is an opinion, and I would like to again apologize that if you do like this game, I don't mean any offense to you. I like a number of bad games too that people hate, so you know, it's just an opinion, and I gave my opinions. If you have an opinion you'd like to add to either A, agree, or B, to disagree, I have no problem with that. I am willing to talk about what your opinion is. I'd love to actually hear your opinion. Be honest, I don't actually know a lot of people who've finished this game. Most people who've tried it that I know just outright hate the game. So, you know, I would love to hear opinions, you know? I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, I've probably made this video too long. Yes, good lord, oh man, so much negativity. This is going to end up like Lunar Dragon Song, isn't it? But, yeah, that's my thoughts on this game. Didn't truly enjoy it. Start off basic, mid, bleh, and end just bleh. Okay, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry if I did sound very negative again. I'm really sorry. I'm not saying I hate anyone who likes this game. You're tired of your opinion, I'm tired of my opinion. And I just can't recommend it. But you're entitled to give me your opinion in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you disagree, tell me what you disagree with, why, and your justification. But please be civil about it. Because that's something that happened on my Dragon Song video from long, long ago. There were some people who wanted to be uncivilized and call names and shit. Let's be civilized, people. Civilized. There was nothing wrong with their opinion of disliking something and liking something. It's an opinion, opinion, and opinion. And like the Happy Note always says, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. See you next time. And I hope you enjoy the video. And I hope you like the environment. This is probably not going to be the normal environment I'm recording, but maybe for now, because I'm still doing a lot of moving. Oh my gosh, boxes!